Welcome to this tutorial on data analysis with AWS Redshift. Today, we're diving deep into how you can leverage AWS Redshift for your data analytics needs. Whether you're a beginner or have some experience, this video will cover all the essentials you need to know. By the end, you'll be able to spin up your own Redshift instance and start querying data like a pro. First off, let's talk about what Amazon Redshift is. Amazon Redshift is a fully managed, petabyte-scale data warehouse service in the cloud. You can start with just a few hundred gigabytes or scale to petabytes of data, handling complex queries and large datasets effortlessly. Now, let's set the stage for our work. Before we analyze data, we need to have some data to work with. In this tutorial, we'll be using publicly available data to create our data analyses. We'll start by setting up our Amazon Redshift cluster. For this, you will need an AWS account. If you don't have one, go ahead and sign up. Once you have that, log in to your AWS Management Console. Navigate to the Redshift service. You can find it under the Analytics category. Here, select Create Cluster. You'll see a form to fill out. Name your cluster something recognizable, like My Redshift Cluster. Choose the node type based on your requirements. For demo purposes, DC2.large is a good choice. Select the number of nodes. Let's start with one to keep things simple. Finally, set up credentials with a username and password, remembering them for later. Once you've completed the form, click on Create Cluster. It may take a few minutes for AWS to spin up your instance. You'll see your cluster's status change to Available once it's ready. Next, we need to configure our security group. We want to allow access to our Redshift cluster from our IP address. Go to the VPC console from the AWS Management Console, find the security group associated with your cluster, and modify the inbound rules to allow access from your IP. Make sure to add the PostgreSQL default port, 5439. Now that our cluster is up and running, let's set up a connection. For this, we will use a SQL client. You can use a tool like dbeaver, SQL Workbench, or even the AWS Query Editor in the AWS console itself. Using SQL Workbench as an example, go ahead and create a new connection profile. For the driver, you'll want to select PostgreSQL. Enter the cluster endpoint, database name, username, and password you set earlier. With your connection established, it's time to load some data into Redshift. AWS provides an effective way via the copy command, but for now, we'll use sample data. In this SQL statement, we are creating a users table with some sample fields and then loading data from an S3 bucket. Don't forget to replace the S3 path and IAM role with your own values. Once your data is loaded, it's time to start querying it. Let's find out how many users we have in our data set. You should see a count of the users returned in the results section. Next, let's run a query to get the usernames grouped by sign-up dates. The results will give you a breakdown of how many users registered on each date. This is a fundamental analysis you'll likely need. Now, let's take it up a notch with some refreshing material. Suppose our data keeps changing and you want to refresh your analysis regularly. For that, we can use Redshift's materialized views. You can now refresh this materialized view to always have the latest data without rewriting the entire query each time. Let's list all the materialized views we have created in our database. With these materialized views, your data analysis will be faster and more efficient because Redshift caches the results. Another important aspect of Redshift is its ability to perform joins on large datasets quickly. Let's say we have another table, user_orders, which contains orders made by users. Now let's run a query to get the total order amount by user. This will give us a comprehensive view of which users are spending the most on your platform. You could also apply filters, sorts, and much more to enhance these queries based on your requirements. Another consideration is performance. Depending on the size of your data and complexity of your queries, it might take time to retrieve results. To improve performance, make sure to set distribution styles and sort keys correctly based on how you plan to query the data. In this revised table, we set the distribution style to all, making it suitable for small tables and ensuring every slice has a copy. Sorting by sign-up will help optimize queries that filter or group by this field. Scaling Redshift as your needs grow is also straightforward. You can resize your cluster depending on your usage patterns and queries. Redshift provides both elastic resize and classic resize options. Lastly, always remember to monitor your Redshift performance using the AWS Console's Performance Insights. It gives you a comprehensive analysis of your queries, allowing you to spot performance bottlenecks. It's vital to manage costs when working with AWS. Keep an eye on the cluster usage and shut it down if you're not using it to avoid incurring charges. In conclusion, we've covered the basics of Amazon Redshift, from setting up a cluster, loading data, querying, materialized views, joins, to optimizing your performance. Just remember that practice makes perfect, so don't hesitate to play around with your own datasets. If you found this tutorial helpful, please consider liking and subscribing for more content on data analysis and programming. Leave a comment below if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover. Happy data analyzing!